Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Tuesday night Publicly Buzzed live. Thanks everyone for being here. Now I have a special treat for you here tonight, making a rare appearance on Tuesday night. Is none other than my brother Dan. You know, this is a rare appearance. He doesn't usually come out of the cave on Tuesday, but I've dragged him out tonight to come and hang out to talk about a little bit of this new Kohberger stuff. What's going on, dude?
What's up?
Not much.
Yeah, man. I don't usually show up on Tuesdays. I usually have other stuff going on, but needed to come on tonight for the Kohberger case. So here I am.
Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, I messaged him earlier, see if he'd come on, and I know he's been digging into some of this stuff, and it'll be a good one. Got a little bit of beer on my microphone. But yeah, Tuesday night. Thank you all for hanging out. I see there's a lot of people already hanging out in here. Appreciate it. Please hit that like as you come through, guys. That's right, Jay. Rare Ricky Cougarback sighting on a Tuesday night. Like I said, it's like he's like Bigfoot on Tuesdays. You just don't see it.
Yeah, I've been here on at least one Tuesday, right?
You've been here on Tuesday
Maybe
before.
A couple.
Yeah, in the early days when we didn't have a hardcore schedule. Yeah, you were coming through now on a Tuesday because we didn't know what was going on. Yeah, everybody hanging out here. Holy shit, a lot of people. Mandy, Jay, Creepy Crystal, Strike First, Strike Hard, Cammy Q, Zan, Stevie Irwin, Denise, Willow, Bobby Hansen, Carol, Allie, everyone, Bobby Hansen, everyone. If I'm missing Tangled Crochet, if I'm missing some people, Brian, Oblivion, I'm sorry, Wildside. Thank you all for coming in here and hanging out. Appreciate the shit out of it. Again, under review also, you were hanging out in here for Murder Church on Sunday. Gina also, and everyone's excited that Ricky Cougarback has arrived. But yeah, as you come through, before we get rolling into this, all this stuff, we've got a lot of stuff to go over. We're going to go over some of the doc stuff. We're going to watch some of the hearing today that happened. They were cleaning the house, preparing for the demolition this summer. So there's a lot of stuff to go over. But as you come through, folks, please hit that like. It helps us out in the algorithm. In the long run, YouTube loves that. Please share this out to your communities on Twitter, on YouTube, loves that as well. And if you're not subbed up, please sub up. Hit the three little dots on the side and make sure all notifications are turned on. So, but yeah, we have a lot to kind of go over here. We're going to go into some of this doc stuff, which Dan, I know you were on Dago the day this came out on Friday night, kind of going over this. I broke a few clips out. Actually, I think this is the... Actually,
I read through it on Friday and it blew my mind a little bit. That was late Friday.
This is the death penalty one, actually, which was even after that. You haven't actually looked at that one, have you?
I've looked at it. Yeah, it's that one was yesterday, I believe, right?
I think it was I believe it was yesterday. No, I'm sorry, that's not. That's one of the experts that we have lined up here. Yeah, we have a couple of experts that I saw the lawyer, talking about them. Excuse me. Yeah, this one right here is what's this guy's name? Stephen B. Mercer. We may look at that. That was not for sure. I did want to look at this Bicca Barlow one, though. She's an attorney that's very schooled in DNA and forensics. I was kind of digging, just kind of scanning through this. We're going to go through that. But yeah, here we go. This was the actual death penalty one. Yep, seeking the death penalty that Bill Thompson has put out. And then, of course, the stuff that came out on Thursday, Friday there. And then, of course, the hearing today. But yeah, man, as you was, this is one you were really kind of digging into, right?
Yeah. This one, super interesting. Real crazy. Real, I mean, when I first read it, I've had time to sort of settle on it and think about it, but it's, I mean, it turned some stuff on its head. I mean, we found out that they're saying no DNA was found in the car, house, or house, apartment, or office. So that to me is pretty huge. Considering I was kind of expecting them to have a lot more evidence, which they still may, they still very well could have more stuff that's not talked about here, but no DNA in the car is pretty crazy to me.
Early on, before we even get started here, Jay from the Shaming a Jay channel. Thank you also, Jay, for being here. I was hanging out in his channel all day today. Also, we're rocking Jay's merch. Hold on. I'm sorry. I do got to show this off real quick. Jay's merch right here. Wore this today at work. This hoodie's comfy as fuck. He just gifted a membership. Hold on. Teresa, thank you so much. You are now officially a member here on Publicly Buzzed. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Give her the beers in the comment section also, guys.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Appreciate the hell out of it. Oh, shit. Wrong one. Hit the wrong button there. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That's awesome, Jay. Starting it out the right way. And yeah, dude, I really am enjoying this freaking hoodie. Yeah, fill the beers up. Oh, my God. Yeah, and there he is. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, Dan. Jay there loved my new a corn logo and love me some Publicly Buzzed. Now, I've heard many people think that is corn next to their name. That is a walking beer.
Yeah.
He's got little legs. He's walking across the screen, but no, it does look like corn.
Yeah, it definitely looks like corn.
Yeah, I love it when the chat starts filling up with brewskis. Yeah, anytime we get a new member, make sure to pass out the beers, guys. Sam coming through here. What's going on, Sam? Thank you for coming through, modding as well.
I just got my Jay shirt here Monday, I think. Yesterday.
Dude,
was
that
yesterday?
was also with the quickness with the shipping, Jay.
It was, yeah. I just ordered it. I think I ordered it Thursday and got it Monday.
Mandy,
like
I know Mandy's in the chat there. Please link up Jay's stuff there.
Make
should
sure
probably got that to you. But yeah, put all that in the chat there. Yeah, get his YouTube, get the Twitter, get his link tree. The J Buzz Nation rocking and rolling here. But yeah, Dan, the craziest part, I think, and it's got the internet a buzz and the whole world that has been covering this closely a buzz, is the multiple DNAs sources that are potentially out here that's not even been fucking looked into further.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, because they're called unidentified male DNAs in this document, and that leads you to believe that they haven't been tested, or even if they were tested, maybe they were ran through CODIS, who knows, but they didn't have any hits if they were, because they don't know who they are. They don't know who they belong to.
Super fucking weird, man. Now, I did not expect anything like that. And I heard you say it, and I've heard multiple other people say it, really hardcore professionals. And I know Dan's on this boat as well. And I've become more on the path of factual information. A lot of the actual, the real paperwork that we got coming out, the stuff that's coming through the court system. And we've all kind of been waiting on the possibility of more info coming through, or them, maybe not seeing everything just yet, but the more, and you said it the best, you said the defense has already put out enough reasonable doubt with some of this early stuff. And that's probably on purpose, knowing just how sensationalized and viral this case is, man. They know everyone's going to see this. And like you said earlier, the jury pool, that much more tainted. I mean, this is running rampant through the media right now.
And I mean, people can talk about how the general public doesn't look at these documents, but the people that do, if they run across, they run across videos on the internet or word of mouth throughout the community, somebody's talking about it, I'm sure. And it just spreads from there. So whether they look at documents or not, it just adds that another layer of them hearing the information when they shouldn't.
Yeah, like it's fucking crazy, man. Like, I was blown away by this part. And again, we've kind of stepped back from this case. There hasn't been a lot of stuff going on. The last time we covered this has been a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, this right here actually turned some heads and got us talking. I'm going to read through this just a little bit. Anybody, I'm sure everyone has seen this by now, but we'll just to get a little basis. And anytime you want to jump in here, Dan, anybody from chat also, got any questions? You got anything you want to talk about? Throw it up there about the Kohberger stuff. Factual background: on November 13th, 2022, law enforcement responding to the 911 call found Idaho 4 deceased. Law enforcement later found a K-bar knife sheath placed next to Ms. Mogan on her bed. The sheath was placed button side down and partially under Ms. Mogan, and the comforter was placed button side down. On November 20th, 2022, the Idaho State Police Lab in Meriden, Idaho, located DNA on the button of the sheath and performed STR analysis that led nowhere when ran through CODIS. Other than the show, the provider was a male. By December 17, 2022, lab analysis were aware of 2 additional males' DNA within the house where the deceased were located, and another unknown male DNA on a glove found outside the residence on November 20th, 2022. To this date, the defense is unaware of what sort of testing, if any, was conducted on these samples other than the STR DNA profiles. Further, these 3 separate and distinct male DNA profiles were not identified through CODIS, leading to the conclusion that the profiles do not belong to Mr. Kohberger.
Oh, well, that confirms they were run through CODIS there, then.
What?
That confirms they at least were run through CODIS. They just weren't identified through CODIS.
Oh, right. Yeah. We don't know actually who they could potentially be. But that seems absolutely, that's wild as fuck. You have 3 other males that you're not even, well, here's the thing, I know that we both look at different lawyers on YouTube and on Twitter and a lot of different people talking. The lawyer, was kind of going into this and talking a little bit about how potentially there are alibis for some of these people already that hasn't been disclosed, that hasn't been put into discovery, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, true. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be in discovery already, to be honest.
Right. And I mean, I haven't watched any of this hearing that we're kind of going to take a look at today, but I did go through some tweets and I retweeted the hell out of it. And somebody, I'll show them here in a minute and give them some props. Whoever was doing it was doing an awesome job. But, a lot of the stuff that they were kind of combating here today in the actual hearing is a lot of this is jargon that we're going to be getting through here today as well. So I don't know. It's interesting. Let's see, I lost my place there. Right here. While this was ongoing, police were investigating many various possible suspects. Many of them provided DNA. At least one had his DNA surreptitiously taken from a discarded cigarette. Many also had their phones taken and downloaded. One area of the investigation had to do with a white sedan seen on a camera located at 1112 King Road, first glimpsed by officers on November 18, 2022. By November 25th, police believed the car to be the white Elantra and asked law enforcement to be on the lookout for one. Precisely how the police came to believe the car was an Elantra is still unknown. A report from an analysis for the FBI dated March 21st, 23 shows the analysis heavily relied on a video of a car heading in the wrong direction and at the wrong time on the Ridge Road. And I mean, some of that stuff I think is what is actually some of the best stuff from the original PCA, actually. It's confusing, and they even kind of go back on their own thing with some of the cell phone data about where he could be located. But some of the stuff with where they located him leaving WSU and where he later was picked up after his cell phone came back on, some of that stuff I think actually does kind of make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they still have, based on what we know right now, like excluding any undisclosed evidence that's, we don't know about, right? They still have touch DNA, and they have the other circumstantial evidence like the vehicle, the phone pings.
Which the phone pings are going to get destroyed.
The more that we talk about this stuff and we hear experts talk about this stuff, the phone pings don't sound very reliable. I mean, hell, they even kind of debunk the phone ping stuff in the PCA itself. So that's kind of crazy.
That is crazy.
The car, I mean, it'd be nice to see, hopefully eventually we get to, it'd be nice to see the video footage that they were working with and to see how clear the vehicle is, things like that.
That's one thing I think will be interesting if we ever actually get to see that in court with some of the WSU initial footage, right? Some of that security footage. I feel like that would actually be way more clearer. And even, I hate to go back to it again and again, but I do think that the missing front license plate is what led them to getting on this initially. If you're seeing that in the area of the house, it makes sense. Like, even here saying in some of this new information here, we don't know how you got on the car. I don't know if I agree with that, honestly.
Well, they don't have the documents showing.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. They're saying
they want the actual documentation.
In discovery, right.
Exactly.
Okay, that does make sense. Let's see here. The state's latest filings admits that somewhere within all of this, they engaged in investigative genetic genealogy using the DNA taken from the button on the sheath, and now claims that it was due to the use of this technique that it tipped local law enforcement to investigate Mr. Kohberger. It remains unclear what the police first relied on in focusing their investigation on Mr. Kohberger. No matter What came first, the car or the genetic genealogy? The investigation has provided precious little, There is no connection between Mr. Kohberger and the victims. There is no explanation for the total lack of DNA evidence from the victims in Mr. Kohberger's apartment, office, home, or vehicle. In essence, through the lack of disclosure and their motion to protect the genetic genealogy investigation, the state is hiding its entire case.
That's the most important part to me through this document is no DNA found in the car.
No
That's
DNA.
crazy.
How is that possible? Okay.
The guy would have been covered. I mean, he would have been.
Let's even think about it for a minute. How could you go into this place, even if you're dextered out, head to toe, somehow you get to the door, you're covered in DNA. What do? You strip right then and there and you carry it out. There's still going to be drippings. There's no fucking way you can get from the house to your car without something.
Yeah.
Something. The only thing I could see once you get to the car, I mentioned this to you last night, but still, you can't get to the car without something. I can't see that. What if you tarped out your trunk and you threw some shit in there? But dude, how do you get from in that quick of a time limit, right? Time frame.
Yep.
You're rushing, which explains maybe the drop sheath, but the rest of it,
yeah, I mean, even stripping down, that's going to take some time.
It's going to take some time.
I mean, if he had his trunk tarped out, it does almost sound plausible. But the time limit kind of fucks with it a little bit because he's got to get out there, he's got to strip down all that stuff off, and then put it into the trunk. And now the trunk's neatly packaged to where he can kind of wrap it all up in the trunk. I mean, there's still a chance that you're going to get something somewhere because it's DNA and it's fucking crazy. It's hard to get rid of, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the tiniest drop is going to be found because they have the car. They're meticulous. They want to find something. They're not going to be fucking around right now, right? And then even it doesn't seem like that they've even found any remnants of cleaning supplies.
Yeah, so
bleach,
they explain there's
ammonia.
They say there's no explanation for no DNA, which means if there's no an explanation would, for example, be cleaning supply or cleaning residue from some kind of bleach or ammonia or whatever it may be, right? The residue of that would be an explanation for no DNA. So if there's no explanation for no DNA, then it sounds like the car is completely clean.
I just got cracked up. Willow said shower curtain burrito. He's wrapped in a shower curtain.
That's popular theory is that he used a shower curtain, right?
It's something to that effect, right? Something that
he didn't have a shower curtain in his apartment.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Let me see right here. Gail bought the summer sweatshirt, but I love the original Publicly Buzzed, but bought big pullover to walk on Key Bay Beach at night. Still shop again for my girl who lived in the Washington area. Thank you, Gail.
Nice.
That's awesome as hell. Just trying to look through here real quick. Making sure I'm not missing anything.
I mean, Detective John is confident that he derobed. I mean, derobing that. So the time frame that the police have presented is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's what messes with me. It's
9 minutes, I think.
It's the time frame ultimately.
9 minutes to get in there, do the deed, get out, derobe, throw shit in his trunk, speed off. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
Go down here just a little bit further. Argument. The state apparently thinks they need not explain, and this will go perfectly into this Bicca Barlow, who's she seems like she knows her shit on the side of DNA. The state apparently thinks they need not explain how they came to think that it was Mr. Kohberger's DNA on the sheath. Presumably, the defense is expected to accept at face value that the sheath had touched DNA, just waiting for testing by all the DNA. The FBI's myriad resources. Additionally, the defense myriad resources. Additionally, the defense is to guess whether the state focused its investigation on Mr. Kohberger via a bizarrely complex DNA tree experiment or through its faulty identification of the vehicle involved in this case. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Mr. Kohberger does not accept that his defense does not need this information. That's what would be fucked up if you're Mr. Kohberger. If you're Bryan Kohberger right now, you are innocent. You're an innocent man. You are here under false pretenses. You're going to want every fucking thing you can possibly get. You're going to want your team to get everything they can possibly get. That's what would be so frustrating. And I can see a lot of the points the defense does make. It rather obviously falls within the, and then they're going into some Idaho rules here. Fact that the state's briefing makes clear it's in kitchen sink approach in their briefing, just basically throwing everything in. The state begins their argument claiming Rule 16 has no interest in the genealogy testing, and then ends their argument claiming that somehow people will stop sharing their genetics if they were to realize the government is watching. Both arguments must fail. To begin with, the state apparently only wants to prevent Mr. Kohberger from seeing how the IgG profile was created and how many other people the FBI chose to ignore during their investigation. In essence, the state argues that if the later STR testing is accurate, then there is no reason to concern ourselves with how the state came to investigate Mr. Kohberger. And what I find interesting about this is some of the experts and lawyers and people I see talking about this, they all find it pretty interesting that the defense is going this hard on it, because in even some of the stuff that it seems like the state potentially could be hiding, because you don't want that to look bad in front of the court. You don't want that to look bad in front of the judge. That's going to come out later. So like, why would anybody be trying to do weird shit?
Yeah. And actually claiming that too is pretty interesting because I don't think that's a good look for the defense if they're claiming that and it's not true. Right. So, I mean, if they think that, then they got to be pretty confident that that's what's happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right?
Because I mean, I feel like they could get into some trouble for that, right?
Yeah, like that's all I can think about is like, why would you potentially try to? And I'm talking about both sides because, I mean, there is, but at the same time, one of the things, and I did read this today, one of the things that came out during the hearing today, and I'd have to get into it to see the actual details, but something that they are asking for in the motion is currently not done. The state is still working on it, and they even said, well, this is still actively being done.
It was one of the FBI reports, I believe.
I believe it was, yeah. And as soon as that's done, that'll be passed over. So how much is that is still going on? And how much is the defense doing some, I hate to say it, but some whistleblowing techniques here just to kind of ring the bells out there to the public that something shady's going on. But that seems fucked up also. I don't see them doing that. And why would you want to taint your reputation? Like, that's what messes with me is
people are saying today she backtracked on that.
On which one? What part?
On her claiming that they're hiding evidence.
Oh shit. Okay.
Interesting.
See,
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, I've only seen notes and snippets from that.
And someone, Art Reese said, no official document has said it was touch DNA. This one that we're reading now, not the expert, but the one from the defense team, is the first one to actually officially say touch DNA in it. It's been speculated for a long time that it was touch DNA, but this is the first document to officially say it.
And Angel D coming through. Have you seen the court appearance today? I haven't actually seen it, just seen tweets and people talking about it, but we're going to get into that as well. Seabolt, thank you for coming through here, brother. Really appreciate it. Detective John Steve, let's debate. Let's bring some excitement to your show, guys. Bring us up on the panel so Steve Irwin can stop being a key bird tough guy. All right, let's calm down, fellas.
Detective John there's always some drama when Detective John.
I don't. Why the fuck is there always random drama, y'all?
Or he's fighting others. I don't know.
Let's see here. To begin with, the state apparently only wants to prevent Mr. Kohberger from seeing this. Yes. Now, what I kind of want to bounce off from here. Let me see. I want to make sure I got through everything I want to see here. See here, with the state's argument, it asked that this court and Mr. Kohberger to assume that his DNA on the sheath was placed there by Mr. Kohberger and not someone else during an investigation that spans hundreds of members of law enforcement and apparently at least one lab. And, you know, a lot of the stuff that they're kind of touching on is kind of getting into, they want the reports of these other police officers. They want to know their records. They're going to try to touch into like these guys fucking this up. They're going to try to touch into these guys being, you know, not honestly, because they pass it off to the FBI. Before this got passed off to the FBI, some of these undertrained law enforcement officers, potentially in Idaho, doing some, I don't want to say fucked up things or nefarious things, but maybe not doing something exactly towards the book. And that's going to look terrible in actual court.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to try to pick some of that stuff apart if it's there to be found. Perhaps most puzzling in the state's argument for that rule requires them to turn over the results of, or reports from scientific investigations. It does not require the state to disclose what law enforcement does with the results or reports. State's brief at 14. First of all, that sounds like an admission that the information. Second, what law enforcement does with results or reports is covered by Rule 16. Going over some laws here. Frankly, the fact that members of the FBI are so concerned about permitting Mr. Kohberger to know what they were up to with what was supposedly his DNA does not give one impression that there is nothing to see here. I agree with that. Finally, the state's claim, another law applies to this matter. It is quite bizarre. Presumably, the independent company the government relied on was paid for its work and would stand by it in court. The state provides no real argument as to why the company needs to be protected. Mr. Kohberger is left to suspect they wish to keep their methods from being questioned to the extent that there is some concern about intellectual property that can be addressed via protective order. Second, the state appears to argue that everyone living on Earth that provides genetic information is A, unaware that their DNA could be used by a government somewhere from something, and B, is an informant within the meaning of their term. And this is what they're trying to, their reasoning is that they don't want all of this information out to the public in court. I can actually still understand that too, because this thing is so wild. I mean, I personally wouldn't want my shit in this trial. I mean,
right. I wouldn't either. And that part does make sense, but that doesn't keep them from being able to turn over the documentation for what they did.
So they can see it. Yeah.
They can just redact the names.
That's true too. Yeah. That's a good point too. That's a very good point. That's literally done at all times, right? You get some sensitive paperwork and everything's fucking redacted out. It's a damn good point. Now, I'm going to bounce over here. If we can come back to this in a minute, because I do want to get in this just for a second. So this was in some of the new paperwork that's released here. Another expert, another attorney, declaration of her name's, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Bicca Barlow. I am an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of California, and I have been retained to assist counsel for Bryan Kohberger in the above matter in the capacity of DNA consultant. I have a BS from the University of California, Berkeley in genetics and hold on, I got this right. Yeah. Sorry. And an MS from Cornell University in developmental genetics with minors in cellular biology and plant molecular biology. I received my JD from the University of San Francisco School of Law. I began counseling on DNA cases as a law student in 1994. In 2004, I was hired as a DNA attorney for the San Francisco Public Defender's Office. During my 9 years at the office, my practice was focused almost completely on DNA cases. In 2013, I left the office and returned to consulting on DNA cases throughout the United States in both states and federal courts and at all ages of litigation. I have acted as DNA counsel. So this is, basically what you would see if they're actually on the stand in a real trial, telling you why the fuck they're an expert. Let's see. I regularly communicate with attorneys and experts who specialize in DNA. I was requested by counsel in this case to assist in determining the scope of DNA discovery necessary for defending this case, including any genetic genealogy that was used. Part of this assignment was to identify potential expert witness and legal issues that might arise from the use of genetic genealogy in particular. Because I have been retained on other cases involving genetic genealogy, I'm aware of the methods used and the type of material that is and has been made available in criminal cases. In order to assist counsel in this and other cases, I have reviewed a multitude of materials, including peer-reviewed articles, magazines, and newspaper articles and motions submitted in other cases. I have also interviewed numerous experts. I have reviewed the material provided to the defense, and in this case regarding the DNA testing done, as well as numerous news articles regarding this case and the government's motion for protective order. I am informed and believe via news reports that in this case, Mr. Kohberger was initially identified as a suspect via a new methodology called investigative or forensic genetic genealogy. Okay. Genealogy testing and database searches. I am familiar with the methods used to conduct IgG searches in criminal cases. I have been retained in other jurisdiction on cases involving this type of search, and have received and reviewed reports generated by the private company that conducted both the testing itself and the construction of the family tree that led to the identification of the defendant in those matters. Based on my review of that material, I am informed and believe that the use of these databases does not necessarily lead to a single individual as a potential suspect. The testing conducted by the private lab is different in nature from the testing done by forensic labs. The private labs do not generate a profile in the same way that forensic labs do, and there cannot be a direct comparison between the data obtained in this case by the Idaho State Police lab and the private lab. The ISP lab had conducted what is typically called STR-based testing, which results in a profile that can be uploaded to the state and federal CODIS databases. IgG labs use a different technology where individual SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms, are sequenced. The SNP and STR data cannot be directly compared. Once the IgG lab completes its testing, the SNP data is uploaded to a genetic genealogy database that contains similar data from other individuals. One such database is GED Match, has recently been acquired by Virgo Labs. I'm aware of only one other website that allows law enforcement searches. Most websites, such as 23andMe, do not allow use of their data. Data is compared within that database, and possible relatives are identified. The determination of who is or who is not a relative is subject and based on the length of DNA shared between two individuals. The comparisons in such a database do not yield an identification of someone identical to the uploaded SNP data. Rather, it would identify possible relatives who might be in the database. Once a putative relative, am I saying the right? Putative relative have been identified, a family tree is created working backwards to grandparents and possible great-great-grandparents. The family tree is then built down. The construction of these family trees is highly subjective and is based on the use of public records such as marriage and birth certificates. Difficulties with tracing a family tree may arise when there are events that sever a relationship, such as an out of wedlock birth, name change, or adoption. In some instances, contacting individuals for further family information, such as noted above, this process leads to a pool of individuals rather than one specific individual. I'm also aware via news reports that in the Golden State Killer case that multiple individuals are often identified and must be eliminated in order to find the potential suspect. As described in the Washington Post, the technique leads to a pool of relatives. The same issue has come up in other cases where more than one individual was identified and subject to investigation. In the episode from the genetic detective show Who Killed Angie Dodge, at least one relative of the defendant in that case was investigated and ruled out. Further complicating the Dodge case was the fact that the defendant in that case had been born after his parents' divorce and adopted by the stepfather. In addition, there had been a history of misuse of these IgG databases by law enforcement. Abuses of law enforcement by the GD match resulted in users opting out. You know, this is just a thought. Wouldn't it be crazy if like they don't want to give all this up? I mean, there's no way though. But if they don't want to give all this up just because, you know, they know that they've done something fucked up. They know something on their side. And if they can legally not actually have to put that into discovery, if they can get the judge to say, you know, we're siding with you, they would never actually have to show that. But the flip side of that is what we were just discussing. If that comes out later and the judge sees that, that's going to look terrible for them. That's not going to be good.
Yeah, it's what's interesting is they can. I mean, the shady shit they could be doing is they create that S&P profile, and then they can just upload. I mean, you can, if you have a profile that you've taken from one of these sites, you can upload it yourself. So they could just like pose as somebody, upload it, and they especially say on the site you're not allowed to do that, but doesn't necessarily going to stop anybody, right? And that's the shady shit. Like that's the shit that they're not allowed to do that. Because that then pulls profiles from people who have opted out of law enforcement, right? Like, you know, on these sites, you can usually, I think those two sites, both of them, you can opt in or out from allowing law enforcement to use your profiles in their investigations. So if they did it the shady way, now they're pulling every profile, and
nah, dude,
not the way it's supposed to be.
I can't see that. Like, I can't. Like, that'd be so fucking crazy.
Right.
Like there's no fucking way, dude. Some shit like that's going on.
But also, I mean, like, so this person that we're seeing now, or that we're reading about now, if this stuff does get admitted into discovery and it's part of the actual trial itself, this is the shit we're gonna see. This is these fucking experts that are super knowledgeable about this shit, just fucking tearing it up, right? Like. And then, of course, the prosecution's going to have their witness that is going to try to defend it, and then it's going to be up to us and the jury ultimately to determine who's right. What makes the most sense to you, right?
Yeah.
This is where shit gets crazy.
It's going to be interesting, man, because that's like one of my favorite things since I've started doing this is the debates, the legal debates that happen live in the trials. Why are we allowed to do this? Why are we not allowed to do this? And I'll get pissed off. I mean, I'm watching the YNW Melly trial right now, dude, and it's wild as fuck. Like, and then if you have a good badass defense team like they have in that one, and I'm sure we're going to have in this one, at least seemingly it looks like that, this is going to be fun. Like, there's a lot on the fucking line, but from a trial aspect of watching this, dude, this is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a legal battle is what it's going to be. And it's going to be fucking interesting is what it's going to be. I do want to show a little bit also of, we can go also, I have the death penalty one up here as well. The most interesting part is, of course, them seeking the death penalty at the end here, but they give the reasons. And I've seen
I gotta turn my air conditioner on. It is
getting a little warm.
Yeah.
Dan getting a little toasty, everybody. Dan will get toasty. While he's going away, everybody, please hit that like, help us out here. Appreciate it. You know, that helps us out in the algorithm. Share this out to your community. YouTube loves that. And yeah, I see Austin Rains is in the chat here. Ladies and gentlemen, Austin Rains is helping us out here on the channel. This Friday, I should have something to show you guys. We're working on kind of a collab with some shirts. It's going to be fucking dope as shit. She is working on those herself. They're going to be custom and original. On Fridays, we're randomly going to be basically doing something where we drop like a limited amount of variant shirts, some really super custom made dank shirts that we're going to be popping up on a Feral Friday show and showing off. And again, she's putting in a lot of work, and hopefully we'll have something to show here on Friday. But yeah, man, she's awesome as hell, and appreciate you for doing that, Austin. Also, now one thing, Alex, I'll show those shirts to you too, Dan. At least what she was kind of showing me.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah, dude, they're dank. It's going to be cool. And they're going to be customizable too. So if you actually purchase one of these shirts on a Feral Friday show, you know, you'll be able to have like your tag or your name also put on the actual shirt. But yeah, we'll have more details on Friday about that, but it's going to be sweet. I'm excited about it. Hope she's still hanging out in there. Let's see. Yes, she knows. Love it. Love it. Mandy knows. Don't talk to people you don't like. Respect each other. God, if YouTube would do that, the chats in YouTube would do that, we'd be in a better world, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
It gets a little wild in here. It always does on a Kohberger show on an Idaho 4 every fucking time, man. We haven't covered this in literally weeks.
This case is so black and white. Like everybody is playing for a team. Like nobody's really.
That's what sucks.
It is what it is. I mean, I tweet out and I'll say something where I think, who knows, maybe the DNA is a little flimsy. Well, now I'm completely on Kohberger's side. Or if I say, you know, the PCA is a little, it seems strong. There's some stuff there. Now I'm against Kohberger.
I've said it numerous times, and I think you agree. We're not married to any of these ideas. It can change in a dime with factual information being released, which happens all the time. I'm like that with anything in life.
I'm reading
100%.
I'm not fucking saying anything.
We don't know
one way or the other.
We just don't really know. Do I think one way or the other? I do, but that gets changed literally daily, all the time with new information. Like until we get to the actual point of the trial where it's really laid out in front of us, we're going to continue to kind of do this right here, which I mean, it's fine. But it's again, everyone likes to jump on a certain team, or I mean, we just need to look at the literal facts that's in front of us. Alpine coming through here. I see a lot of names coming back through. Our housewife, Kaylin, always coming through here. Everybody, thank y'all so much. I do want to watch a little bit of first of all, yeah, also follow us on Twitter. Dan, also follow Dan on Twitter. What I need to do is I need to get like all of our links. I got some of them to Mandy and Sam, but yeah, also I need to get Dan's in there so we can get everybody followed up.
I'll pop it in.
Yeah, get in there. Let's just make sure, first of all, I've got this where we can actually hear it. Watch a little bit this together, because I am not watched any of this yet, so. I did see people saying he looked a little sickly today there, didn't he? A little gray.
Maybe.
I don't know how you couldn't be, quite honestly.
God, it's gotta be 80 degrees up here. I wish I'd have turned it on before the show.
I'm over here wearing a hoodie.
Oh man.
I'm
Should've
actually
known
just
earlier
normal.
and
Like
turned
I'm
it
not
off.
hot or cold.
Mhm.
I guess I'm more on the warm side.
Okay, let's get on the record, please.
Is there audio? Because I can't hear it if there is.
Super low.
Okay, we're on the record. This is State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger.
You don't hear that?
Case number CR
Make sure it's
29222805. Mr. Kohberger is in the court.
What
He
now?
is represented by Ms. Taylor,
Nope.
Mr. Logston, and Ms. Massett.
Got the thing set up, right?
Is it me?
I had some issues on Sunday.
I hear it. It's coming through stream, the YouTube stream, but I don't hear it in Discord.
Questions. And before we get there, I want to address, really,
Yeah, I don't got, I've got it set up like normal, monitor and output. But yeah, Sunday I had to actually, when I started the Murder Church stream, I had to, which it was an easy fix that I could have fixed without even shutting down the stream, but it's just my sound thing, but it's already set up right, so.
Can you try deleting browser audio and then re-adding it?
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, let's do that.
everybody about the
You hear that?
revised
Nope.
amended dissemination
I don't
order.
know.
That's so weird.
Apparently there's some misunderstanding
Hold on, actually, hold on.
about
No, this one, now
who
you should be
it
here.
applies to and who it doesn't
Ah,
apply
nice.
to.
Haha!
Because what I thought, and this is 100% my responsibility,
All right, let me go back just a little
Ms.
bit.
Taylor, Mr. Logston, and Ms. Massett. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings, also Mr. Nye and Ms. Beatty. And we're here for some motions, discussions, and before we get there, I want to address, really everybody about the revised amended dissemination order. Apparently there's some misunderstanding about who it applies to and who it doesn't apply to. Because what I thought, and this is 100% my responsibility, I use the term agents, and the revised order says that the prosecuting attorneys, defense attorneys, any agents of the prosecuting attorneys and defense attorneys are affected by this order. Apparently, some of the media interpreted that as it doesn't apply to law enforcement, but it does. So law enforcement is, they are agents of
Oh
the
shit! Did you
prosecuting
see
attorneys.
where
Now, I'm going to issue.
the Goncalves family attorney said something, I believe yesterday, and it kind of breaks the. It's like they're sharing that they believe he's guilty, right?
No,
Which breaks the
the gag order.
gag order.
Shit. No, I
Yeah,
hadn't seen
can't
that.
remember exactly what they said.
Yeah, find that for me. We'll get it up here.
gonna see if I can.
Another order, another revised order, just to make
As we continue
sure
watching
that
this, folks,
that
I'm
is
just going to
clear,
run grab a beer real quick. I'll be right
because
back.
people seem to be very confused about that. Agent, definition of an agent is one that acts or has the power or authority to act. Another definition is one empowered to act for or represent another. So I'm going to include law enforcement for the prosecuting attorney's agents, and for the defense attorneys, investigators. So it's clear. I think it's sort of doubling down on the definition, but apparently that's necessary. I'm also going to add retained expert witnesses for each side because we don't want to have a trial in the media or in the public. We want it to be in the courtroom. Speaking of that, a comment on the cameras. They're in the courtroom now, and I have deferred my decision about cameras. One of the things that's going to be really important, that is very important, is that the people with the camera and media need to follow the rules. And we've had some issues where people were pushing the envelope, particularly focusing on the tables where counsel sits. You are not to turn your cameras toward the top of those tables. And if you do that, you're probably going to have to leave the courtroom. Also, one of the things that happened in the Daybell case is that the cameras just continued to focus on the defendant. Don't do that. That's what brought the cameras to have to leave the courtroom in that case. And what I would prefer, if you want to continue to have cameras in this courtroom, is to back off and not. Do we have that? Yeah, make sure that's muted. Make sure that we just have the totality of what is happening in the court, and not just focus, for example, on Mr. Kohberger's face. So that was what happened in that case, and it's not appropriate. One other reminder to counsel to speak, and this is to myself, to speak into the microphone so we can have a good record. All right, I think those are my general announcements or cautions, and I think we've sort of boiled things down to some issues on motion to compel discovery. Some of those issues have been resolved, some have not. So
I sent you the tweet
let me
that I was talking about.
To you, Ms. Taylor, to start off. Where do we start?
Your Honor, we would request that we start.
You sent me on Twitter.
I sent it to you on Facebook.
I believe the third motion to compel will be heard on a different date.
True.
As it relates to the two motions to compel, and I'll present my arguments whenever the court's ready, but I can direct the court exactly to the numbers in those motions to compel that are still up for discussion today and request approval from the court.
Excellent. I'm ready.
On the original motion to compel, we are only seeking the court to order number 6 be complied with in that motion, in that particular motion.
Okay, let me take a look at that. Number 6, and so this is the motion to compel discovery that was filed on May 4th.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Number 6. And that is request number 160.
That is for request number 160, and that was in the second supplemental discovery request.
Okay, thank you. All right. And we're getting, is that me? Okay. Number 6,
Number 6 on that one, yes. On the second motion to compel, Your Honor, we are leaving the court to order on request number 1, number 4, number 5.
I'll be right back.
And I
All right.
think that we have a plan for the other numbers, so those would be the 3 we need to order on.
Thank you. Let me make sure I'm looking at the same page. Okay, number 1 is request 1. Number 4 is request 23.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's number 2, request 4.
You don't even fucked up. You got Dan yelling in the chat.
Number 2, request 4.
That's funny.
Okay. And you said number 5.
And number
It is hard
5,
to hear.
which is request 109.
Thank you. All right. That's the second motion to compel discovery.
Correct.
All right. You want to make an argument about those?
I would love to.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Your Honor, first, I want to start with talking about the discovery process. As the court knows, we have been representing Mr. Kohberger since the very end of December of 2022. And during the course of the last several months, there has been a lot of discovery that's been requested and a lot that's been supplied. I come here asking the court to compel discovery. I'm seeking an order directing that we receive this discovery. I'm not seeking any other kind of sanction. I don't come here saying that the prosecutor has done something wrong. I come here saying that there are things that we have a disagreement about whether I should get them or when I should get them, and we seek a court order to assist us in this regard. Yesterday, we filed an exhibit that related to our motions to compel, and the purpose of that exhibit was to show the court how the discovery is coming in and what we are weeding through to try to find the information, and to let the court know that our office is making extraordinary efforts. Mr. Kohberger's team works nonstop, and when we ask for discovery, it's because we have reason to believe it exists. So I wanted the court of counsel to be aware it's not a fishing expedition. These are real items that are really necessary to investigate this case and prepare Mr. Kohberger's defense. So with that as the background and the frequent communication with the prosecutor's office to try to obtain the materials we need, we have come to an impasse in a few areas, and that's what brings us to court today. As the court knows, discovery is governed by statute 1993.
The camera zooms in on Bryan Kohberger. Like just randomly starts zooming in on him. I'm gonna go and pull this over here
on the entire courtroom
real quick. Yeah, the right there. They made a point of that today, didn't they?
Yep.
They're like, how about you stop fucking just zooming in on this dude? And this is from Andrea Burkhart, who is fucking awesome. We watched we both did, but we watched her video kind of going over the stuff we went on earlier. What's she saying here? There is no, is she quoting it?
She's quoting, that's the lawyer. Yep.
There is no one more deserving than the defendant in this case. There is an opinion on guilt that is directly contrary to the amended gag order. Will be interesting to see if the judge takes a hard line on this.
Yeah, below that's the tweet from, or the statement from Shannon Gray.
Statements from Shannon Gray on behalf of the Consalves family. The Consalves family is grateful that the prosecutor's office is pursuing the death penalty. There is no one more deserving than the defendant in this case. We continue to pray for all the victims. That is pretty crazy.
And then she highlighted in her tweet, Andrea's tweet, she highlighted the part from the
Any opinion as to the guilt or innocence of the defendant.
Yep.
That is pretty, that's as broad as you get. They are literally saying, we think that you're doing the right thing, but going after the death penalty for this guy.
Nobody's following the rules.
Nobody's following the rules. Wow, that is interesting, man.
I wonder if the judge is
missed
going to
that.
say anything about any of this shit. I mean, like this, the camera's directly zooming in on Kohberger.
Yeah, like that's one thing he said today. You know, if they're in that, then they're going to keep fucking around and they're going to end up taking them all away, you know, completely away here.
And Idaho Criminal Rule 16. And the purpose of discovery is really to prevent an unfair trial, to prevent trial by surprise, and also to protect
Where did
a
Dan's name
charged
go?
person's
We are already
rights
not getting
to meet
cameras in
their
the courtroom
defense.
for sure.
It protects
I can almost
their
guarantee it.
Sixth Amendment rights to have.
I know, man, it's going to blow because we're already getting teased with all of this.
He's already like the judge has already stated that he's so against media coverage. So
What's up, Glass City Girl? Thanks for coming through here. All the folks coming through here tonight. Appreciate it. Hanging out. See some beers hanging out in there as well. Everybody grab yourself a drink. Again, it's a special Tuesday night here with Dan hanging out. Usually don't get Dan on Tuesday. Pulled him in for this one. Unfortunately, we had to cancel last Feral Friday. This Feral Friday, everybody, you know, I did mention this on the Sunday Murder Church episode, but Friday, maybe a random time frame. I've got something going on personally. We're still going to be doing it. Hopefully it'll even be 10:30 p.m. Eastern time, but it could slightly be later. It could go into 11-ish. But either way, we're going to be playing a drinking game Friday. We're going to be having a good time. I got the same thing on deck that we're going to be doing this last Friday, moving it to this one. And yeah, we're going to be having fun. So hopefully everybody can come hang out for Feral Friday.
Sufficient, and I have prepared counsel, I should say, as we have a duty to investigate the case. So in preparing our case for Mr. Kohberger, we've asked for several things that we still need. I'll talk first about request number 6 in the first motion to compel, and that stems from discovery request 160. It's training records. These are training records of 3 specific police officers. Your Honor, we have not asked for training records for every officer that has had anything to do with the case. I would not want to stand here and let the court think that this is an exhaustive list of the officers that we might need training records for. But these are 3 officers that we've requested them for, and the state has indicated they're not willing to give us their training records. These 3 officers are officers that have each conducted critical interviews with critical witnesses in the case, made decisions.
I do agree with Willow there. The prosecutor's beard is pretty epic.
About the interviews, made decisions about.
You know, the beard's probably going to be doing most of the arguing, I would imagine.
Evidence.
Gotta respect a good beard.
I'd expect a real good beard.
Other kinds of investigations. We seek.
You know, even if Bryan Kohberger's odds right now are 70-30, you know, the beard probably making up a good portion of that 30, I would say.
At least, yeah.
At least 20%.
Their training records to understand their processes. The training records, Your Honor, they are records that we've been able to obtain from various police agencies in the past. In this circumstance, are not records that I can find on my own. These are not things that are on the internet. They're not going to just hand them over to me. The 2 of the officers that we've requested.
I was only going to drink one of these.
Are Idaho State police officers.
No, I've had 2. When I'm on 2.
I have often received training records.
Here's my second one also.
Police officers in the preparation of other cases.
Here we go. Here's one. Deborah Sullivan coming through. Steve and Dan, I respect your hard work and patience in every situation. Much love and support. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Thank you.
What a great comment. And I'm also cutting some of it off. Thank you so much. That's awesome. We try.
During the course of my career. They are imperative for us to understand the specialty in interrogating and interviewing people, and for making the decisions that they made with regard to things taken as evidence in the case, or things followed up on or not followed up on. That is the purpose for those records, and we're asking the court to order the state to provide the training records for those 3 officers. Moving on then to our second motion to compel. And what we are looking for is a lot of information from the FBI CAST team, as well as the FBI forensic examiner team. What we're talking about here is the CAST team are the FBI examiners that use cell phone records to provide a lot of information that found its way into the probable cause affidavit that the state relied on in arresting Mr. Kohberger. I had the opportunity to meet with the prosecutor, and they indicate that we will be getting those items in number 1 and number 6 disclosed to us, but we don't know when. So I'm asking this court to issue an order with a date certain to obtain those records. These are bits of investigation that the FBI conducted that relate to Mr. Kohberger's cell phone, and the state has relied on that in their affidavit to say that Mr. Kohberger was in certain places at certain times. So these are bits of information and analysis that's been done since December. We are now at the end of June. We do not have those records yet, Your Honor. They are so
Uh-oh, Mountain Mama coming through with a gifted membership for Annie Ruler. Annie Ruler, give her the beers in chat, everybody. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, yes. Covering them up with those satisfying pours. They're there. Trust me. Yeah. Look, I'm going to do them again. Yes. Boom. Thank you so much. You're also going to get one of these.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
And then I'm also going to, I haven't played it tonight yet. Little Jim Leahy for everybody, the Trailer Park Boys fans. I don't know if you are, but this is the new Publicly Buzzed motto.
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm drunk enough to really enjoy doing it.
Yes. Doesn't get much better than that.
something that's been relied
Thank you so much, Mom. Appreciate that.
upon.
I call
by
that the flow state.
for the PCI
Yes.
to arrest Mr.
Yeah, you flow a lot better once you start getting a few in you, right?
For sure.
A little, what do they call it?
Balancing act, right?
It's a
You go too
lubricant,
much,
right?
yep.
Yeah, social lubricant.
Right.
Kohberger, as well as to obtain a variety of search warrants. It's information that the state has agreed we should have, so we ask the court for an order with a deadline to get that. I want the
Know what
court
you
to-
rocking, Dan? A can of JD and Coke?
It is, yep.
Let me see that. You've had that on here before. Oh, yeah.
Actually, this is the first time.
You had
I had
something.
Crown and Coke before.
Crown and Coke. That's right. The purple can.
Yeah.
That's right. How's that one?
Not as good as the Crown and Coke, in my opinion, but it's all right.
Doing a little bit of the Corona tonight, actually. It's warming up, so got that and a lime to...
Got you a summer
right.
beer.
I like a dark beer, too, but in the summer, I do like a Corona.
Yep.
No, I don't think that Mr. Thompson or Ms. Jennings are
Porch
trying
Rocker
to
by Sam
avoid
Adams is a good
this.
summer beer.
I ain't heard of that one. Porch Rocker.
Yep, it's really good.
Oh, yeah. I see the beers throwing up there in the chat. Thank y'all so much. Little love. See you hanging out. Thank you so much. Kimberly? Anybody that I'm not mentioning, I apologize because I love seeing everybody here. It's awesome. That's right, Kaylin. Getting a little fancy tonight.
My fancy pants.
And Tuesday night, I don't normally drink. So, yeah, you're getting a little bit of what you didn't get on Feral Friday, basically, tonight. Maybe a little teaser for this Feral Friday.
Yeah, just a teaser.
You know what I mean?
I think they'll give it to you when they have it, but I think an order from the court saying this is the date certain may help them get the information a little bit more rapidly. I'll move on to our last request, and that's number 2 in the second motion. to
Oh, shit, we missed her say
request
they aren't
number
hiding
4.
anything.
And that
Shit.
has to do
Did it
with
just
the
happen?
FBI forensic
I don't know.
examiner that.
Oh, no, I did hear that. It was when you was gone. Yeah, she was saying basically like, I do not think that what they're doing is hiding, but we do not have all all the information yet. I did hear that.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds like a different tone from the document.
It does sound like a different tone from the document. That's almost
Well,
like
it is.
anything, right? Like just fucking texting each other. Then all of a sudden you see each other in real life. All of a sudden everything's calm the fuck down.
I was gonna say it is different lawyers. Like this is Ann Taylor. That document was the other lawyer, or one of the other lawyers. I can't remember the name, but they have to consult each other when they put
Yeah.
these documents in them. Yeah,
And dude, I'm still at the end of the day, there's still a lot of gameplay going on here, and I really think they're putting a lot of this stuff out. The defense is putting a lot of this stuff out just to get it out there. The reasonable doubt's already cooking, already rolling. It's that's a smart tactic. Also, I mean, at the end of the day, you have more people in the general. I mean, in Idaho on the online. You have more and more people all the time questioning this thing, wondering what the hell's actually going on. That's actually the general narrative now, is that I think that most people are thinking, what the actual fuck, more and more.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's wild. Even us. I mean,
I do see, I don't know. I see a lot of, it's still 50-50 to me. I see a lot of both sides.
I do too. I can see both sides. Yeah. It's interesting. Just like that document we were just reading from the defense. I didn't exactly agree with everything they were saying in there about the car stuff, quite honestly. Like, I don't know.
Undate Elantra. This is the examiner that
Like, I get that it's not pinpointing this man 100%, but I still think that there's that the him being held, it makes sense at this point in time. Like, now what's coming out currently that is bullshit is some of these other DNA profiles that we're seeing that apparently weren't tested or maybe not looked into. You know, hopefully when that comes out and we end up seeing, here's the reasoning, here's why you don't have that, there's something behind it. Because that's fucking weird.
I want the full, like the true timeline.
Timeline.
They mentioned that, like, you know, what came first? When did Bryan Kohberger become their suspect? And what caused it? Was it the car? Was it the DNA? How does all that fit together? Right.
I know.
Because I mean, he drives the car, but there's a lot of cars, a lot of white Elantras. We already know that in the area. So if the DNA came first, then they were just like, oh shit, okay, and he drives a white Elantra, here we go.
Yeah.
Or did they have him as a suspect from the vehicle because of the footage from Washington's state, right? Or Washington State University and the front license plate thing, and because I mean I've heard.
But what really came first, though? Like out the gate, because they started saying we're looking for this car. They started getting the security guard in WSU or whoever. They started, and then they were looking around. They finally found this guy's car. They see this dude leaving whatever time frame in the security footage. It has no front license plate. But before they even get that far, and
they saw his ID and kind of matched him up with the very brief description that they had.
Like, there's still a lot to be desired with all this. Like, so much. That's what sucks.
I don't think, from what we know now, I don't think it's enough to convict.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Especially not enough to give him the death penalty.
Yeah. Reasonable doubt is still there, and you can't kill somebody or even convict them. I mean, that's also scary to think about. But you have to be able to prove it, and you have to feel good about it. You can't just, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we've been through this numerous times in the fucking system.
Just knowing about cases from Touch DNA where it was unreliable makes me think that even the DNA is not enough for me, especially it being such a small amount.
And as easy as it is for Touch DNA to be transferred, the more and more we learn about that because of this case, it's super scary.
Fucking terrifying. I mean, me or you could be pulled in just because
we're behind somebody in a store. Yep.
Yeah.
It is very crazy, very frightening. So, and if they zoom in on you and then say you don't have enough money for proper legal counsel, and they start zooming in on you, and then you're fucked, right? That's scary as shit. Or, counsel that doesn't actually care or have your, proper means in mind. Like,
I mean, when you do think about it, like when it starts adding up, I mean, even if it is Touch DNA and it could have been accidentally transferred, the guy does drive the vehicle they were looking for, apparently. The cell phone pings are pretty unreliable, but I mean, that's also, and I mean, I don't know. The cell phone pings I'm kind of throwing out completely, actually, because
the cell phone pings I think are going to be fucked up. Yeah.
I'm just going to completely throw those out because
they destroyed those in their own paperwork and their own PCA.
I mean,
he right after saying this is why we believe he's here, they're saying also, well, we also have a reason to believe that he wasn't here because we know he was at this location, but he's still pinging off that tower.
Exactly. So
what the fuck?
I'm throwing that shit completely out. So they either need to have better cell phone data, which they hopefully should have. They have his cell phone itself. Maybe they should be able to pull some kind of GPS data or something, unless he's turned it off or whatever, right? Which they're saying he did. So I'm waiting on that. Now that the car apparently has no DNA, we need something else like that, something that really puts him there.
Yeah, man. And
'Cause I don't even know. I mean, the cameras from the footage that that's in the PCA from the residence from the house
yeah.
doesn't put them there.
Real quick, Mandy in the chat here. Here's my question: if the state is not getting all the docs from the appropriate law enforcement agencies, whichever docs and Taylor is requesting, she cannot access them can't access them since law enforcement works for the state. She cannot access them since Ellie works for the state. Law enforcement works for the state. I'm not really sure what you're asking, Andy.
What was it now? I think I missed.
If the state is not getting all the docs from the appropriate law enforcement agencies, whichever docs and Taylor is requesting, which is, in this, what we're watching, she cannot access them since law enforcement works for the state.
I'm not sure either.
I can't wrap my head around that one. That's too much. Too much for me, Mandy.
Is she talking about the other, like?
Oh, she's asking another. Also, where does it specifically say touch DNA? Now that's just
that's in the document. That's in the one from Friday.
But before that, it was just being said by some random guy, right?
It was speculated, yeah. Which he also had Arthram correct, the guy who.
So they were getting some information from somebody,
right? It seems like it. Arthram has been speculated up until this document. Touch DNA has been speculated up until this document. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, if you want to pull that up to show it, probably do a Control F on it.
On which one?
To show where it's at. It's on the one from the defense, the one that's not the experts talking.
Which one was this one? I think this is it, right?
The
original one you were looking at?
Yeah.
Do you remember about where in there it was?
Can you just hit Control F and do touch?
Control F touch. What's it supposed to be doing?
Is it finding anything?
Control F's not
like
doing
find.
anything.
Control F brings up your find box on your.
Yeah, it's not bringing it up.
Hang on.
Oh, there it is. I'm an idiot. Should it highlight it though? Wouldn't it be?
It should, yeah.
It pulled it up, but it didn't actually. Oh, here we go. No, it just pulled up DNA, not touch DNA. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Maybe the argument. Presumably, the defense is expected to accept at face value that the sheath had touched DNA. Yeah. Argument. The state apparently thinks they need not explain how they came to think that it was Mr. Kohberger's DNA on the sheath. Presumably, the defense is expected to accept at face value that the sheath had touched DNA. Yeah. Just waiting for testing by all of FBI's resources. Yeah, I was hitting F7 like an idiot. I do Control F literally every day.
You also didn't show the doc, but
no, not.
I'm sure they trust.
Are we
you.
still on the? Oh my god! Well, it's still up over here. Hold on. Here we go. Bam. There she is, right here. There she is. Touch DNA.
Anyway, that's the first time it was confirmed.
But before that, it was just being said. But a lot of the stuff that what was the Barry Bloom? Was it who the fuck?
That's who it was, yeah. And it was just speculation. I mean, it was speculation, but it was like the most likely scenario. I mean, they've been talking about this for months. Actually, I mean, there was an article a long time ago that talked about it as well. I mean, if you just Google,
hold on, we got a super chat here. Let me get that real quick. Christine Brown, can you help me understand why cameras are welcomed in the courtroom before the jury is picked and not after? Shouldn't it be the other way around? That's actually a pretty good question. And I don't fucking know, but I think they're actually still in real time trying to figure that out.
Give me the loot! Give me the loot!
I'm a bad, bad man. Yeah, I think that's kind of what's going on right now. They haven't actually made like a full-on ruling, right? Like right now, it's almost like they're kind of filling out how it's going to be. But once this actually gets closer to real trial, I feel like they're going to probably end up saying "fuck off." But yeah, that is ultimately a good question, and I would like to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Get a real
I mean, they're not
actual answer to.
They don't really go into any like real details in these hearings.
This one today really wasn't a lot.
Documents do. The documents fucking go wild. I mean, that's what's crazy. But these hearings that we watch, they really don't go into any details of the case. So maybe that's why.
Your range was expanded. I believe I have the communications between the police department and the FBI about how that date range changed, but what I don't have is the report from the examiner. I did receive the CD, curriculum vitae, about the examiner late yesterday from the prosecutor's office, so I'm asking the court to order a deadline for the report to be given to the defense. Again, the court's read the probable cause affidavit that led to Mr. Kohberger's arrest, and the court can see that this vehicle identification was heavily relied on by the state to arrest Mr. Kohberger, as well as to obtain a lot of other search warrants. This is information that is very necessary for us to prepare our case. I don't think Mr. Thompson and Ms. Jennings are withholding anything. I think they don't have it, but I think we need a court order with a deadline so that we can get that. As the court is aware, the state has a duty to provide this.
Make sure it's clarifying here. Hold on, Mandy. Law enforcement works for the state, therefore, and cannot directly request information from law enforcement agencies, or can she? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, though. I don't guess.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so. Yeah, that'd probably have to be something that would be put into discovery, I guess. Like, it's almost like what she's trying to get with these other police officers' backgrounds, right? You would almost feel like she should just be able to look that up and get it, but I don't think that's the case. It's clearly not the case because they're trying to protect it.
Discovery to the defense. As the court is aware that
true crime time. Exactly what I was talking about there.
Producing discovery, especially when it's material, can be a due process violation. And as the court is aware, the state has filed its notice of intent to seek death against Mr. Kohberger. These are critical, relevant materials, all of them, including the police training records. They're necessary for us.
She's talking about that right now, the police training records that she's trying to get.
To prepare and present our defense of Mr. Kohberger. They're necessary for us to do our investigation. They're necessary for us to prepare our case and our motion practice moving forward. These are things that we need to have. There is a heightened standard now that the state has filed its notice of intent to seek death, and these are very relevant, critical bits of information. They are discoverable, and we're asking the court to order that they be supplied to us.
Mr. Thompson or Ms. Jennings? Ms. Jennings.
So, Ms. Taylor's correct. She has everything that the state has in our possession. And we have worked diligently and consistently in getting her all the information that we have in a quick fashion. To date, we have discovered approximately about 13,000 pages of reports, 13,000 photographs, over 10,000 tips, and over 51 terabytes of audio and video information. So we are down to just a few points of disagreement.
Sorry, am I a little closer to the mic?
Is it okay if I say?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
First, with regard to item number 6 on the defendant's first motion to compel discovery. This involves training records of a couple of officers. Again, these are officers who the state would argue are not material to the case. They've interviewed other witnesses. They wouldn't even be called by the state to testify at trial. And the state objects to this because training records of specified officers aren't included within Rule 16. And they haven't proffered any reason as to why this would be needed for the preparation of their case. Again, these are investigators who have gone out and just interviewed some witnesses within the case. So we had asked that you rule that this is without outside Rule 16. And I would just remind the court that several hundred investigators have been involved in this case. Our concern with allowing training records for these few, which we can't understand why there's a...
The crazy one, Kristen. Coming through saying, how many of y'all said there is, if there is no DNA in the car, he has to be innocent, and now are rethinking that claim? You know, I still want to see, at the end of the day, you know, what's going to go down, but it's fucking crazy. It makes 0 sense.
Yeah, that was I said earlier, that was the most significant part of the document. And yeah, I mean, it kind of flipped my thinking on its head, because I assumed they would have something else, but
It's crazy.
like that, like DNA in the car. You would assume that it would be there,
Yeah.
but it's
Or
not.
in the
so
house. Yeah, dude, like his
crazy.
apartment.
particular ones wouldn't open the door to us then having to go and obtain training records for these hundreds of investigative officers who've been involved, some of which are outside of our control. Moving on to the second motion to compel. As to item number 1, regarding past information. Ms. Taylor has everything that we have. I've also, that includes reports from MPD officers. What she is seeking is a specific report from the FBI CAS team, which I have indicated to her is in its final stages of review. And we are anticipating receiving sooner rather than later, and as soon as we do, we will turn
It's a
that
slow
over.
zoom. Oh, they stopped.
Sooner than later.
Well, I don't have a date certain, but within the next few weeks.
I think Ms. Taylor wants a date,
I don't have
if
a
I'm
date.
not mistaken.
I've asked for a date, but that is not how the federal bureaucracy works.
That's, how about we say something like July 14th, unless there's some reason that they can't get that to you.
No objection.
Is that what you, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then the state has substantially complied with request number 4, which is the same types of information, but related to the identification of the vehicle. Would ask for the exact same.
We need a zoom on
date
Bryan
certain
right
July
now.
14th, only to obtain
Can we get a quick zoom
if there
in on
is
Bryan
a potential
Kohberger?
report that's outstanding.
Just real fast.
Acceptable.
Closer.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just a little closer on Bryan.
Again, I mean, if there's
Just a
some
little bit closer.
pitch in that, I mean, we can explore that, see what we can fix it.
Nothing further, I
That
think
it?
that
Okay.
takes care of everything.
Thank you, Ms. Jennings. Anything to respond to, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. I want to hear a little bit more on the police training records. I am aware that over 120 officers were involved in the investigation in this case. I am not asking for all 120 officers. I will tell the court that likely there are other officers' training records that I will want. This is within Idaho Criminal Rule 16. These are records, documents, and objects that may have information.
Come on,
relevant
Jeff. Objection. We need better audio in the courtroom. Grounds.
to Mr. Kohberger's investigation and defense. These are records that are likely of witnesses. Whether or not the state calls them, they are likely to be witnesses. The 3 that I'm asking for now,
Zoom in, Bryan.
they had critical roles at various stages.
Closer.
One of the officers
Oh,
did a
yeah.
stolen search for 2011 to 2013, a bail entries to give to the FBI to look through.
Can we get just a little
That
closer?
same officer assisted in the search program.
No? Okay.
This same officer interviewed witnesses witnesses.
We've
from
reached
the scene at 116
Zoom
Road
capabilities.
on the 13th of November. This officer did follow up with some of the key witnesses in the case. This officer signed an
Oh God, he's gonna catch him.
agreement,
He's looking that way almost.
and this officer handled and collected evidence. The second officer that I seek the information from did an interview with a key witness that's expected to testify when this case goes to trial. This officer also mentioned a specialty
awesome.
of working with victims and trauma victims. I think those training records are very relevant. The interview of this key witness was one of multiple interviews of this same key witness by various law enforcement officers. There is a lot of information in the various interviews that's
Halle Berry.
this officer may well be subpoenaed by the defense to come to trial. That person's training records are.
She thought there
very
was a hot mic, but it was you.
The last officer did multiple interviews. I think
That'd be hilarious. You hear just like the cameraman zoom in, get in there, just a little bit closer. Come on, we can get better than that. Don't let the judge know. Don't let the judge know.
a dozen or so, many of them after the arrest of Mr. Kohberger. This officer also interviewed key witnesses in the case. This officer attended the autopsy proceedings. This officer followed up on tips. This officer made decisions about the tips that were given to law enforcement. And this officer also collected bits of evidence. Those functions that police officers make daily in their jobs, they make decisions about a case that later comes to court. They've made
The judge is watching the law and crime feed in real time. He's getting more and more pissed off.
decisions about the case the state's going to present against Mr. Kohberger. They talked to key witnesses, how they do their job, how they were trained to do their job, and what they relied on is incredibly important.
Yeah, that reference right there. Don't make me look like a clown up here. The hot mic got the badass defense attorney from YNW Melly saying that in a sidebar. Don't make me look like a clown up here.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
When they take the stand, they will say, based on my training and experience, Idaho Criminal Rule 16 talks about witnesses. This is information that the defense needs to conduct its investigation and preparation.
Any response to that? You wanna-
Well,
I had a look. I thought maybe you wanted to say something else.
not necessarily, other than just to reiterate that
Not. And Taylor has a great arguments.
this isn't covered by Rule 16, except for if the state were going to rely upon these witnesses and call them at trial, and then at that point, we would furnish all of that. Much of what Ms. Taylor is saying is just pure speculation.
You could say pure speculation, except she just had quite a list of what these particular officers were involved in investigations. So we'll sort that out. Is that it with the motions to compel?
For today,
For today, of course. No motions from the state. All right? Okay. Well, I'm going to take this under advisement, look at the rules, some case law, and get a written decision on it.
I wonder what they were doing, you know, in the early days of like trials and stuff before there were case laws and like, you know, all the like past trials and laws they like go over and they kind of like, you know, make their arguments out of. The very first folks that were going to the trials, they were just like, I'm doing it this fucking way. And there's nobody else to tell me I can't. I love that shit. That's actually the most interesting stuff to me in these trials since I've been focusing on them and watched them. Gail, what are you doing? Coming through with a $4 super sticker real quick. Thank you very much, Gail. Appreciate that. Bam.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Getting both of them. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Yeah. guys, this shit's going to keep on coming down the pike, I would imagine, for the next little bit. Yeah, we'll keep covering it as it happens. And once there's some interesting stuff to cover like this with some documents that we want to get into, because I mean, they're talking about October for a trial. That's probably not going to happen. This is probably going to keep on, inching its way towards, probably 2024 and further out, I'd imagine.
One other thing I want to mention about the document, though, is I don't know if you read this or not. Was they also mentioned that there's no connection to the victims. Bryan Kohberger has no connection to the victims.
I did read that earlier. Actually, yeah, something I could probably.
So based on what they've reviewed, I guess they've so far seen no connection. We can assume, right? Very seriously,
that's after going through all the
everything.
cell phone shit, right? Like.
Yeah, and I wonder how much they've actually gone through, because I mean, there was a lot. 50 terabytes of that. I wonder if they, I mean,
I did want to shout out this dude. I'm going to butcher his name. Alex Carparello. Butchered it. Murdered it. This guy, follow this motherfucker though. He's legit. I retweeted the hell out of this guy all day long, but that, what you just mentioned, I saw him mention that, but yeah. It's interesting, to say the least. Oh, I did want to touch on this just a little bit. We're kind of running a little bit long here for a Tuesday, but yeah, the cleanup crew was out there today. I mean, I guess they're getting ready for a summer demolition on this. And I know that people have a very mixed emotions about that, which I honestly, I agree with most people on that. I think that they should leave this to after the trial. You know, not that they're probably going to walk through it or need to walk through it, but I mean, I just leave it until it's over, man. That's because that's why people are pissed off, I think.
Well, you did. They're not tearing it down. They're just moving stuff out of there.
Well, I mean, in summer they are.
They'll tear it down. You're right. But at the moment, that's not what they're like.
Yeah, they're preparing right now, I guess. But they said it would still be a little while. See, looking through the chat here just a little bit. See, Joanne asking, are we covering the Delphi? I've never actually covered Delphi. I do know a little bit about Delphi. Bob Motta was talking about it. I know he's covering it pretty thoroughly. This Friday, Bob Motta and his wife are both going to be on the Shaming of Jay channel. So is Shannon. They're going to be going over a bunch of cases. I know they're going to be going over Delphi as well. But in the future, I may jump into it, especially once the trial and stuff starts going. I'd imagine I will probably do something on that. Maybe make a video on it as well. Steve, can you please say, I guess you could say it's getting kind of serious. I guess you could say it's getting kind of serious. Everybody coming through here on a Tuesday, thank you all so much. Appreciate the shit out of it. Just reading through here just real quick. Detective John, are you guys not hearing her saying she doesn't believe the state is withholding evidence? I think y'all should be fair and point that out. We did mention that, actually. And I did hear her say that.
Yeah, we talked about it at least twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And that's where we were talking about how there's a little bit of a disconnect between the documents that we're seeing come out and then once we actually see them in trial. Like, God, actually, everything's cool, but not completely cool. There's still a lot of horse shit going on.
I actually find it super interesting how they changed their tone, though. That's the weird.
Yeah, it's the tone. Yeah, it's not necessarily what they're asking for. It's the well, you know.
Yeah, because they were basically saying you're withholding evidence on the Friday document, and then today's hearing they're not. So
yeah, the Melly trial is fucking crazy. It's been very interesting to cover. I've been watching it with again Jay, Mandy, Pop Jay's stuff in there in the chat. Such a fun time watching stuff with him. He streams all day long, does streams, trials every single day. Regular on this channel as well now.
Beards get a lot of love. People love some beards, don't they?
I do love some beards.
Did you see the super chat?
Oh, I just got there. Jeff H coming through with the 199 because you have beards. Thank you very much, Jeff H. And Jeff H is always coming through with a little bit of love.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Love it. Love it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Bob.
Always like seeing Bob.
You get old Bob Mata back on here. Yeah, in the future now, I've got to work it out. Basically, waiting for Sleuthy Goosey to get some good internet. I'm going to be getting Sleuthy and Bob Mata on here together. I think that's going to be a fucking dank show. It's going to be an Idaho show. I was actually not even going to cover Idaho again until I got them on here. And then, you know, some shit came down the pike that was interesting. So we covered it today. I'm not saying that won't happen again, but yeah, I'm really just waiting on her to get her internet situation settled. So she can have some good internet so she can be on here. And again, Bob Mata at the same time. I think that's going to be fucking awesome. Oh, Willow coming through. $4.99 super sticker. Bam.
Under review as a member.
Damn, coming through here at the end. The family showing up. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. And let me... Oh, yeah, under review. Welcome to Buzzed and Confused. Thank you so much. That is amazing. I love it. I love it.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got to get the satisfying pours going. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Be one of those also. You get membered up. You get all of them. You get all the sound bites. Bring the Bob bot. Yeah, give her the beers as well. Always forget to say it. If once we get the members, give them the beers. Load her up with a bunch of brews to take back to the house. As you head out tonight, guys, please hit that like if you have not. If you're lurking in the back, we appreciate the shit out of you for doing that. You know, we like our lurkers also. I like the judge also so far. He's been kind of just chill, you know. That could change pretty quickly, I'd imagine. I do not like the judge whatsoever in the Melly trial. Absolute fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And then somebody, maybe it was Kalen, I think it was Kalen that said that earlier. Could you imagine Bryan Kohberger acting like fucking YW Melly? The laughing and shit. How out of place would that be? It's fucking weird, dude. Like, cut that shit out. Like, today he wasn't fucking laughing. Let's just say that. Shit got a little bit real today in the Melly trial. Let's see. Just looking through here again. Fuck Jeff. What are you doing, bro? $4.99. I like your show so damn much. I hit the like button twice. Well, that means you unliked it.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Love it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I love it. Thank you so much. You're the man. You are the man. Everybody in here right now is the man and the woman. Woo! Trying to get through here. Finishing up real quick.
His fucking attorneys should have control over that, right? Like, they should get him under control because that's such a bad look for the jury. They're seeing him over there laughing.
It's crazy. That's what messes with me, dude. Like,
it's insane.
I don't get it. Judge. What a great name.
It really is.
To be a judge. From
a long line of judges.
That's true too, Kalen. Yeah, they've kind of chilled out with the cameras just hanging on him at all times. Art Rees, $1.99. Thank you, Publicly Buzzed. No, thank you. Because you all make that shit come through every single time. You're the reason we're here. You're the producers of the show. Making it happen here at Publicly Buzzed. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Art. Holly Berry with the $1.49 hot dog super sticker. Love to see that. Hell yeah, look at that hot dog.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
I don't believe you.
Boom.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
No,
I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and I'm
You have so
drunk
many
enough
sound
to
bites now.
really enjoy doing it.
Get them, baby.
I'll tell you like it is, baby.
This is my favorite now.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
I'm telling it like it is, baby.
I'm telling you like it is, baby. I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Thank you all so much. Holy shit. What an amazing show. Hit that like as you head out the door. Thursday night, 9 p.m. I'm going to be going over the 1984 McDonald's Massacre. We planned on doing that last Thursday, but the submarine shit was going down. That was pretty popular. I was covering that very thoroughly on Twitter, so I thought I'd just do a whole show on it, which we did. This Thursday, that's what we're going to be doing. So come back Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Dan will be returning. Feral Friday, we're going to be playing a drinking game with interrogations. And then Murder Church Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We're still covering. We're going to be going into week 6. Can you believe that? Week 6 of the Jeffrey Dahmer trial, which has been absolutely fucking fascinating. It's so interesting and crazy. Like I am so happy I've started the Jeffrey Dahmer trial. I can't even tell you how much I've learned from the experts and the psychological and psychiatrists that have come through talking about all this insane shit. It's very triggering. It's very, very adult, but fuck, it's awesome, man. We had a lot of fun in there always on Murder Church, and I still see some people coming through here right now as I'm trying to turn this thing down. Holly Berry with the $10 super sticker. Thank you very much. Absolutely amazing. You're crazy.
Holly Berry.
Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
Keep them going, baby. And then I think I see one more. Detective John with the $2.99 super sticker saying, "What's up?" Thank you, Detective John. Appreciate that. Myself, brother Pam.
Give me the loot.
I give them all. You get ODB and you get Biggie. And you also get a little gun country.
Gun country.
Boom. You get them all. What else we got here?
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Finally starting to fill up on some sound bites.
Oh, you got plenty now.
Let's see here.
You get wild.
There we go. Mandy putting it right there. Mandy coming through, modding this motherfucker up. Killing it.
My doctor's name is Doctor. Shit.
Wow.
Those are interesting. Those are fun.
Oh Lord. I have not been covering that either, Andy. The Odessa, Texas shooting. There is just so much also. And I work a regular job. Just try to keep it flowing throughout the day, as anybody follows me on Twitter knows.
I have not been following Melly. I just see the tweets. I have not watched any of the trials.
Melly's interesting. Melly's good. Been watching
That's
that
not
again.
true. I have popped in the J stream a couple times, but just for a little while. I don't hang out in there too often because I can't pay attention while I'm working, to be honest.
Just making sure I've got it all. Willow, you come through here, and again, anybody that comes through here on Friday, no pressure whatsoever to actually drink, guys. You don't have to. We have lots of members here that I know don't drink or they've quit drinking. And that's fucking awesome, actually. I love that. I support that. But, and even when we do this show, I always say drink responsibly. Don't go crazy. Know your limits. And then the rules are usually a little bit crazy too. So, don't just start going crazy on this show, because if you look at any of the past drinking games, we've gotten a little bit nuts with the rules. Innocent until proven guilty. That's the name of tonight's show. No, guilty until proven innocent is the name of tonight's show. But is saying, Publicly Buzzed, what do you think about guys who claim to talk to the victims and faked a call with BK? Who is that? What do you think about guys who claim to talk to the victims and faked a call with BK? No, I haven't heard that. Is that some people on YouTube playing some bullshit? I believe it. I believe it. I'll tell you that.
Talk to the victims before?
Talk to the victims through a box. Oh, they're talking about T-Rev. Oh, shit. Shots fired. Damn. What is that? The spirit box?
Yeah.
I
mean, other
mean,
spirit boxers, they may not be talking about T-Rev.
I think so. I think that's what they're talking about.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe I just threw the T-Rev under the bus with the spirit box. Carolina,
I do know.
I
know there's some channels that basically always do that. Like, that's their thing.
And there's a lot of psychics out here too. They could be talking to people through a number of means. Cards. Yeah, I'm all for Anne uncovering any corruption. I'll be shocked if she doesn't. K McHugh knows. K McHugh knows. All right, guys.
Wander down.
I'm winding it down. I'm starting to.
Midnight. We got
making sure we're good. Yeah, I got to get up in literally 7 hours.
We'd hang out all night if we could, but.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out. We are really going to do it this time. Yeah, Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Dan, you want to add anything at the end?
Follow my Twitter.
Oh, yes.
I'm at like 91.
Damn, get
me to 100.
Dan to 100 followers. Get Dan to 100. Mandy, put his link in the chat. Get this motherfucker to 100. Get this motherfucker to 100. I just hit 5 and got really jazzed up on it.
Fuck. Dude, that's awesome.
Let's go, baby. Yeah.
It's happening. Things are happening.
542 right now.
I just started. I'm at 91. I'm pretty proud of it.
That's
so
actually
far.
very quick, very fast. That's
Like,
actually
I'm less
awesome.
than a
You're
month.
less there than a month. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
People know. People need to get on the train. Get on the train. The publicly buzzed train.
Jay did give me that kickstart though.
Yeah, he did help you out.
That
I
was
was
nice.
actually, hold on. We'll end it with, I want to show it off. And get up here. Boom.
Bingo bango.
Dan's Twitter. 91 followers. Publicly buzzed. Dash Dan. Get on it, everybody. Get on it. Yeah, Thursday night, 10 p.m. Jeff is subbing up. We appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you
Hell
very
yeah,
much.
Thank you so much. I only get subs if something interesting happens. I don't really talk about anything other than so far this case mostly.
Yeah, Dan's a no nonsense type of guy on there so far. I get in random fights all the time, and I make a lot of funny jokes. I actually just go crazy on there. I have a lot of fun on Twitter. All right, guys. Seriously, thank you very much. Hit that like as you head out the door. We will see you Thursday night. Thank you very much. Later.
See ya.
Oh shit, wrong one. I thought I had it. Later.
See ya.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of their motherfucking ass.